Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to another
main channel.
Main channel? I only have one channel. Another video, and today I'm going to be talking about GCSE Results Day. So for those of you that don't know, I am going into my last year of sixth form, so I'm going to year 13, which means I picked up my GCSE results almost a year ago. And basically I thought that I would make this video as kind of a guide to results day, or kind of a GCSE Results Day Advice sort of video. Just before I picked up my results, I kind of scoured YouTube for videos just like this, so I thought that I would make one for those of you picking up your results this Thursday. So first of all, I will start off by saying what GCSE results I got, and then kind of explain a little bit about the build up and sort of like how to keep yourself calm, and you know, sort of what to do if you don't get the grade you expect and things like that. So first I'm going to start off by reading you what results I got. So I've got them on the screen next to me, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So in maths I got a 7, in English language I got a 6, in English literature I got a 6, in drama I got an A, which is, so in the new grades this year, which is obviously 1 to 9, which is probably around a 7 mark. French I got a B, which is about the sort of 6 mark. History I got a B, which is also a 6. Core science I got a B, which again 6. Additional science I got a C, which is kind of a 4 or 5. Textiles I got an A, which is kind of a 6 7. And PE I got an A, which is a 6 7 ish. So the old grades and the new grades don't actually line up exactly, so this is kind of just rough estimates of the new grading system. Yeah, so basically I'm going to start off by saying kind of what I did in the build up to results day. So to be quite frank with you, the build up to results day, for me, I just panicked, which is absolutely the last thing you should be doing, because if you panic, the more you're gonna like worry and stress about it, and it's not going to do you any good at all, because quite frankly at this point there is nothing you can do. You know, you've sat the exams, it's all finished, you've had, you know, a long summer, you know, it's all out of the way now, so whatever you open on Thursday is, you know, that's it, and there's absolutely no point in worrying about it in the build up.
Oh, no, 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 no. Look at the top of his head.
The things I would say to kind of, you know, keep yourself calm and not stress about it is, so it's obviously common knowledge with most people that the grade boundaries come out the day before results are released. Do not look at the grade boundaries, because it will get you in so much more of a panic. Even if you think, oh, they're going to be really low, everyone hated the exam, blah, blah, blah. Even if you think that, it might not be the case. And you know, if you look at the grade boundaries and they're ridiculously high and you think, oh no, I didn't do well on that exam, it's going to stress you out, and that is going to do you absolutely no good whatsoever. The next thing I would say to do is to have an early night. Like, I know you're not doing anything strenuous the day before, but if you have an early night, then you're starting to, you know, kind of wind down and go to sleep a little bit earlier, so that if you are kept awake, you're not, you know, you've got more chance of falling asleep at some point. Like, for me, I found it really difficult to actually go to sleep on the night before results day, because I was so nervous. And to be honest, I think getting nervous about results day, like, it's understandable, because, you know, you've put in these 2 years of hard work, you know, you've sat so many exams and you just want to do well. But to be honest, like I said earlier, you know, what's happened has happened, and quite frankly, like, I'll go on to it later in the video, but like, if you don't get the grades you're expecting, there are, you know, kind of ways to deal with it, ways around it and things like that. So don't panic, you know, just go to sleep early so you can get a decent amount of sleep, so that you're not, you know, drained in the morning, so that if you do end up with really great results, then you look great for if you get your photo taken, which I didn't, but you might. So another way to stay calm before results day is to distract yourself. So what I did, if you saw the video, which is obviously no longer on my channel because I restarted, but to stay calm, is I met up with my friends the morning before, and we actually all had breakfast together, and then we walked to school together to go and get our results. That was probably the best decision I could have made, because, you know, we had a laugh about it. We kind of were like, well, if we fail, at least we all fail together. Which is obviously not the attitude to have, but it helps you take your mind off it, and that's absolutely something that is really, really important, is to kind of take your mind off it so you're not stressing. You know, you don't want this to kind of, you know, ruin an entire week of your summer, because, you know, the summer between year 11 and year 12 is by far the best one, and you need to take advantage of that, because once you hit year 12, yes, and then the summer in between year 12 and 13, you know, again, you'll end up with probably bits of work. Like, I know for like history students, you start doing history coursework. English students, they have English coursework, and like, if you're like me and you just can't hand in things to a deadline, you have music work that you're doing.
What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
And yeah, so, you know, you don't want this panic of results day to kind of cloud an entire week of your summer. So keep yourself distracted beforehand. It's so great, and, you know, it'll do you good. Okay, so the next part of this video is going to be about sort of what to do or how to deal with not getting the grades that you either wanted or expected or need, maybe. So I know that there are some like colleges and sixth forms, if you don't get like kind of a minimum grade, that then you potentially can't get in or can't get onto a certain course. And I guess this is my advice for sort of what to do. So in my case, at my sixth form, I think there are a couple of courses that you had to get kind of the minimum of a certain grade to be kind of accepted on. So the first thing to do is to not panic. I know that the worst thing you can do is if you open your results and you get a grade much lower than you were expecting. First thing you do is panic, like, oh my god, I'm not going to get into sixth form, I'm not going to be able to do the course I want to do, and that means I'm not going to be able to, you know, go to the university. And people just kind of blow it way out of proportion, which is understandable, because obviously you work so hard for these, and to then slip on a grade that you worked really hard for can be quite upsetting. But there is absolutely no need to panic. So the first thing I would say to do is to go to your sixth form, so your head of sixth form, or, you know, your college sort of like admissions person, or, you know, whoever's in charge of like admissions onto your course, like the head of faculty or department, and speak to them and just explain to them, like, okay, so this has happened, I've got a grade lower than I was expecting, like, what are my options? And they will hopefully kind of talk you through the process and like explain to you what will happen and things like that. And in most cases, sixth forms and colleges are great, because they want you to stay, you know, they want you to stay there, they want you to, you know, join their course and things like that. So they will kind of, you know, talk to you about what's happened and stuff like that, and if you can kind of prove to them that you'll be able to, you know, keep it up, and like they might even put you on like a probation sort of period of, so like until October half term. If you can't, if you're not getting the grades that you should be, then they'll drop you, but things like that. So, you know, don't panic, there are definitely ways around it. And also another thing to do, like just in case you need it, is to kind of put together some work. If you haven't thrown it all away at the end of your exams, like I did, and I know a lot of other people did, is to kind of, you know, find some work. If you've got someone like a laptop or a USB, you know, find some of your best work from that subject if you're planning on carrying it on, and just be like, look, the exam wasn't great and I was hoping to do better, and I can do better, and kind of give them the work just in case you need it. Because like the last thing you want is to be like, oh, I can do it, and they'll be like, well, prove it, and you don't have anything. So I'd say to kind of put that together just in case. Okay, so for the final part of this video, I'm going to answer some of your questions that you left on my Instagram story about your questions about GCSE Results Day, and kind of, you know, just general questions. I just put like, what questions do you have about GCSE Results Day, and this is what I got. So I've got them on my phone here, and the first question is, do we get mark breakdowns for each exam? And the answer is, it depends, which I know is not the answer that you want to hear, but so depends on what school or college you depends on what school you go to. So for my school, yes, you do get mark breakdowns. So when you open up your envelope on results day, you will get a piece of paper that looks remarkably like this. I know you probably can't see my school from there, but I'm just going to cover it just in case. So what you get is kind of the first few are your overall results for each subject, and then on the bottom and on the other page you get a kind of a single grade and a single mark for each exam on like bit of coursework that you completed. So for example, so for drama, so in my case we have drama 1, 2 and 3. I don't know if it's the same now. In fact, I know it's not the same because the course is different. But in my case we had drama 1, 2 and 3. And it comes up on there. So drama 1 I got 77. It doesn't tell you what it's out of, but I got 77, which is an A, 72, which is an A, and then 120, which is an A star. So overall that then compiled to an A. So basically, yes, you do get a mark breakdown, but not kind of a specific out of sort of thing. How did you feel opening them, and what were your thoughts on your results? When I was opening them, I was absolutely terrified. It's the worst part of GCSEs, which sounds ridiculous because doing like 20 odd exams is awful. But I think knowing that you've done all that work and all the build up in the previous 2 years to just get this like single bit of paper, it's really scary. And I was really nervous because I genuinely had no gauge of how well I'd done, to be completely honest with you. Like I walked out of some exams thinking and others that, and then so you know I had no real gauge of kind of how well I would have done overall. But and then my results overall, to be honest, I was pretty happy with them. In terms of like the work I put in and the revision I put in, I was happy with what I got. But at the same time, I know that I definitely could have worked a bit harder to get higher grades. How to deal with getting results you're not entirely happy with. So obviously I have spoken a little bit about that in previously, but just like if you're not, so like I said, I was not entirely happy with my drama grade, so because of the breakdown in terms of you know, the marks and stuff and how close I was. But in that situation I actually spoke to my drama teacher and was like, what could I have done differently? Can I carry that forward into A-level drama, because that's what I'm doing at sixth form. You know, there was, but in terms of how to deal with it, the way I look at it is not, because if it's not going to affect, you know, your like future steps, is to not dwell on it. So like with drama, it didn't affect me getting into drama at sixth form, and it won't affect me doing drama in the future if that's what I choose to do. So don't dwell on it. Like looking at my drama now, I've learned to laugh about it, and any time my teacher, so I know that I dropped my grade because on coursework, like written coursework. So now anytime we do a bit of written coursework, it's like, oh, here we go, I'm gonna go from that A star to an A again, aren't I? And you know, I just learned to make a joke about it, and I think that's the best way to deal with not getting the grade. Okay, so the last question about on GCSE Results Day that I have had is, can you get your grade changed? So for those of you that are obviously picking up your results on Thursday, you will have obviously heard of remarking and things like that. So the short answer to this question is yes, technically you can get your grade changed. However, that's obviously only if you get it remarked and if your marks change. So if you open up your results on Thursday and you kind of see that you had an exam that was really close to the boundary of a mark, you can technically send it in for remarking. However, there are risks to doing this. The first one being that your grade can technically also go down. So what happens when you send your paper off for remarking is it goes to another examiner. So and for whatever reason, this examiner could see your paper and actually realise that you have been overmarked and not undermarked, which obviously is a big risk, because unlike with like retaking exams, you don't keep the highest grade. If you get remarked and it goes down, that is your final grade. So obviously there is a big risk to remarking, and it does also cost money. So you kind of have to really think about it, like, and definitely speak to a teacher. So if you speak to a teacher and they say, actually, yes, I think that you could have gone up, then definitely send it off for remarking. Like, it will cost money, but it might end up being worth it. However, if your teacher says, oh, I'm not sure, like, I agree with this mark, then do not go against their advice. Do not send it off, because you do not want to pay money for your grade to go down. So absolutely, yes, you can get your grade changed. However, I wouldn't recommend it if you don't think you're really close and you're likely to go up that extra grade. Okay, so that's it for my GCSE Results Day video. If you have stayed to the end, thank you very much, because this has been quite a long and quite chatty video. I just want to finish this video off by saying good luck if you're collecting your results on Thursday. And when you do collect your results and you want to let me know, then please leave them in the comments below if you're happy for other people to see them as well, or send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram, because I would love to know how you've done. So thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you're new around here, then subscribe, because you're going to want to stick around for the content I've got coming up soon.